Voilà, c'est demain que tout s'arrête ici. 63 rue boîte aux lettres assorties. Il subsiste encore quelques notes de piano et le rire des enfants qui fait encore écho. 40 années plus tard.
Yes, we're back, Steve and Marianne, and we're still road tripping. This is the Redwoods Part 1. We're going to be starting off with a little few still shots we took in Ukiah, California, just off the 101, something called the Stump. This was a gas station that the building part, the office part, was carved out of a solid, complete redwood tree stump. It's all hollowed out inside. That's where the office was and whatnot. And it was kind of a famous stop along Old 101 back when it plowed right through the middle of Ukiah, right on Main Street. Our next stop is going to be a little further up the road once we get past Willits, the other major town just before we really hit the serious redwoods. And that will be, of course, the first of the famous drive-through trees.
Sur les joues, t'as vu comment on se collectionnait des yeux. C'est bon ta main dans mes cheveux. La photo des enfants, le premier jour d'école, tous alignés devant les dégradés
pastel. I'm waiting in line here to get through this old tree. It's quite the deal, and of course everybody in the line has to stop, and somebody has to get out and take their picture, and they pose in front of it with their car. It's really kind of a hoot, which is always fun. I mean, they're just having a good time, so be patient. It was the poor guy behind me who was a UPS driver trying to wait to get enough room to get in and around, so that was kind of funny, really. The tree itself is something like 315 feet tall, and at Coolidge Park, back in May of 1931, there was a report in the Redwood Journal that a new attraction had appeared in the Redwoods, a drive-through tree. Well, the oral history has automobiles becoming a bit too big for that one, and the Chandelier tree, the Chandelier tree at 21 feet in diameter was finally opened up, and the hole is some over 6 foot, almost 7 foot wide. If you've got an SUV, I don't know if I would recommend doing it. It could get a little tight. Redwoods are really amazing trees because they could withstand this kind of abuse of having the heart of it cut out. This tree is 58 feet in circumference. That's almost a 19-foot diameter. And that's pretty amazing when you think about it. And they've been doing this here since the mid-30s. So pretty remarkable to try to eke out a living there in the Depression, getting people off the road who had to go up this way and let them have a chance to see something unique. As you can see, we took some still photos while I was driving through. Marianne was out there with the camera, taking pictures of the old Yellow Submarine as she squeezed through the opening. It's always just so much fun, and people are having a good time. And of course, there's a gift shop there. You wouldn't want to miss that at all. Now, just in case you think this is our first rodeo, no, back in 2012, we took the Blue Meanie, our Triumph TR3, up through this area, and of course, we drove it through the drive-through tree. It was an easier fit, I'll tell you. Now this attraction is just off Highway 101 in the little town of Leggett. There's signs out on the road, the highway, to tell you where to turn off so that you can find the drive-through tree. It's not hard to find. It's down this narrow little two-way or one-lane road. It's one way each way on it. And we'll get you back out onto this side road, which, by the way, if you go the other way, will connect with Highway 1, California 1, the famous Pacific Coast Highway. That's the one that eventually goes through the middle of San Francisco and then down the coast in Monterey, goes out there onto the very cliff edges of the Pacific Ocean. If you decide you're going to take that drive, check first to see if some of it slipped away into the ocean or not. It routinely gets closed down these days in heavy storms because of mudslides. And don't forget, you can get all our Road Trippin' books and my spy thriller books at www.mccarthypicks.com.
Instead of feeling bad, be glad you got somewhere to go. Instead of feeling sad, be happy you're not all alone. Instead of feeling low, get high on everything you love. Instead of wasting time, feel good about what you're dreaming of. Instead of trying to win something you never understood, just play the game, you know eventually you'll look good.
Okay, you can see we're getting back on the US 101 northbound here. This little section of the highway, the Redwood Highway, is nice 4 lanes, but down the road a little bit, it'll get narrowed down to 2 lanes again. There's a lot of that, especially as you get closer to Garberville, which is our destination for tonight's lodging. And we go through the famous Richardson Grove, which is very narrow and twisty. And for years, truck drivers associations have tried to lobby Sacramento to widen the road through there, but the local people and others have resisted this vehemently, and I hope that you would do the same if you ever hear of them trying again to get that part of this roadway wide, because it's just gorgeous. There's huge redwoods on either side. Yeah, it isn't easy for truck drivers, and I sympathize. I used to drive a bus myself, but still, beauty comes before profit. That's something a lot of people don't quite understand these days. You've got to preserve this kind of thing, and these redwoods are an absolute treasure.
Instead of acting crazy, chasing things that make you mad, just keep your heart ahead. It'll lead you back to what you had. With every step you're closer to the place you need to be. But it's up to you to let her love you sweetly. Instead of feeling bad, be glad.
Yeah, you can actually see, honest to God, hitchhikers up here. These days, picking them up, I don't know. We never have room in the back of the car, even a big old wagon like this. Got too much stuff. It used to be just a common practice to stick your thumb out, ever since, what was the movie? It Happened One Night, when Claudette Colbert pulled up her skirt and got the guy to screech to a halt so they could get a ride. Hitchhiking's been a normal way of transport across the country when you didn't have a car, you didn't have bus fare. But these days, things are sadly just a bit too sketchy.
Instead of feeling bad, get happy. Wait for you by the telephone. So get back home.
Of course, the area is filled with campsites. If you're into camping or RVing or whatever, Marianne and I are, that's not our thing. Our idea of roughing it is if room service is late. But we'll just continue on here. There's a couple of things I want to point out, however, that are down the road beyond where our little video stops. The first is the Benbow Inn. It's a historic inn built in the 20s, and it is wonderfully luxurious. It was the hangout for the elite of San Francisco and movie stars up from Hollywood trying to escape. And even today, a bellhop will meet you to take your bags up. You'll have to tip him, of course. And there are no TVs in any of the rooms. Better than that, there's a carafe of sherry and 2 glasses for you and your significant other to take a little sip, relax a bit before dinner, and make sure you've got reservations for both dinner and a room there. It ain't cheap, I'll tell you that. It's a good $250 a night. But still, and the food is expensive, but it is so good. It's one of those places, at least once in your life, you need to treat yourself. You need to splurge and stay in a fine luxury hotel. And where better than in the middle of the Redwoods, these glorious things. The other neat little spot along the way, a tourist attraction, a roadside attraction, beyond Confusion Hill, is the Legend of Bigfoot, which is pretty much a gift shop, I'll be honest with you. It's on the left side of the road as you're going north, so we usually don't stop there unless we're headed south. It's a funky little place, and to be honest, it's a good place for a pee stop if you need it. So look for it as you're coming south. It's right in the middle there of Richardson Grove, or right near it. So it's a fairly tight, twisty part of the roadway. There is some parking at the side of the road, but it does get a bit busy, so you got to be careful where you park.
C'est plus ou moins ce qu'on cherche, j'aimerais rechanter. Et je n'empêche pas les gens qui sont bien d'être joyeux. Pourtant s'il est une samba, son tristesse est un vin qui ne donne pas l'ivresse. Un vin qui ne donne pas l'ivresse. Non, ce n'est pas la samba que je veux.
We'll be coming up to our next and last roadside attraction of this video, Confusion Hill. This is one of those classic little spots along the way that are just so intriguing and so special, and hark back to a much earlier time, a more innocent time of travel out on the highways. It was built by a man named George Hudson in 1949. After World War II, this guy was intrigued with the idea of finding his own special place, similar to the Oregon Vortex and the Santa Cruz Mystery Spot. He believed that there were more than just a few places in nature that defied its own laws. Now, they've got the world's tallest freestanding redwood, the Gravity House, which is pretty much like the old spot in Knott's Berry Farm or Calico Ghost Town, where it's built on like a 45-degree angle and is a lot of fun. There's a mountain rain ride there, and of course a gift shop. You always have to have a gift shop in these places. So stop by, you can get maybe something to eat or drink or munch on, and again, it's a pee stop. You always want to have those in mind when you're headed out on a road trip. Remember bus driver rule number 1, never pass up a chance to pee. You never know when your next one will be.
Mais quels que soient les sentiments qu'elle exprime, elle est blanche de formes et de rimes. Blanche de formes et de rimes, elle est nègre, bien nègre, dans son cœur. Mais quels que soient les sentiments qu'elle exprime, elle est blanche de formes et de rimes. blanche de formes et de rimes. Elle est nègre, bien nègre, dans son cœur.
Okay, there we are. We see the signs, Confusion Hill. Now you ought to put your blinker on early because it's around this blind bend. It's just such a wonderfully curious place. This huge, tall, chainsaw carved totem pole is amazing. Man carved it out of a 40-foot tall redwood tree that was already dead, so don't get angry with him for killing a beautiful example of a redwood tree. It was dead. You pull into the little parking lot here, as you can see, and there's people around, and it's just all so gentle and so much fun to look around this little weird place.
Love is now the stardust of yesterday, the music of the years gone by. Sometimes I wonder why I spend the lonely nights dreaming of a song. The melody haunts my reverie, and I am once again with you. When our love was new, and each kiss an inspiration, but that was long ago. Now my consolation is in this.
We always try to get at least one sticker for the car and maybe a fridge magnet at all these little shops. It's a cheap reminder of where you've been. They're kind of fun to have. Here's looking up at the top of that incredible totem pole carving. It's really quite beautiful and painted, a lot of fun. It has no Native American significance. It's just for fun. And then there's this little funky, sort of a kid's playhouse, the shoe house, it's called. So that's our trip for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. And are you confused yet? I would hope not. But please, as always, remember www.mccarthypicks.com. That's where you can find our books and links to my blog and all that good kind of stuff. So this time you actually get to see Marianne in a picture. She's a bit camera shy. I don't know why. She's far better looking than I am. So here's to you all. Good road tripping to you.
Thank you.